Is Greg Little a bust waiting to happen?
Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any video from my channel.
Yo! Welcome to LCameraTV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share some cool things on Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roman.com and wherever else. And guys, I'm doing a rookie report. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I'm doing my own rookie report, basically just on the first two draft picks. I'm going to say, talk about what I heard about them from minicamp. And what they need to do in training camp. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot to talk about, guys, because one of them is not really living up to the billing. So we got a lot to talk about, guys. So let's get started. So the first rookie I want to talk about is obviously the first pick for the Carolina Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Number 16 pick. Brian Burns. Now, Brian Burns, from what I'm hearing, is doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? He's doing pretty well. Like I said, it's kind of, he's in a very crowded situation. So you're not, hearing as much, traction. But I guess, if he was doing amazing, you probably would still hear it. But from what I'm hearing, he's doing pretty well. He's, playing well, him and Christian Miller. So it's a good thing, man. Like I said, he got a lot of people to learn from. Bruce Irving, obviously Mario Addison. And, just in general, he has a lot of people to learn from as far as pass rushing and just pass rush moves. Because, he's been pretty good with his hands and his speed. But he needs to get stronger. And so far, he seems like he's doing pretty good. Marver, has nothing negative really to say about him, you know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. I expect that from my number one pick, and I think he'll be able to contribute from the very beginning. But even if he can't, that position is kind of loaded. That position is, we was already loaded kind of before Gerald McCoy got there. We still had K1 Short, Terry Poe, Bruce Irvin, Mario Addison. So we had a bunch of people, and now we got Gerald McCoy, and we got Brian Burns, and we got Christian Miller. So we got to kind of fit these guys in. And obviously, Ron Rivera likes to switch people in and out and move people around a lot because obviously he doesn't like his players to get tired. That's one of the reasons why K1 Short was such a dominant force for us when he first came to our team, because when he was in Purdue, he was playing like almost every snapper. He was playing a high amount of snaps. And he didn't produce like people thought he would as far as in Purdue because he was playing so many snaps. But once we brought him to Carolina and we put him on Starla Tule and we kind of rotated him out, he was more fresh and he was able to get to the quarterback better. So same thing with Brian Burns. Obviously, Ron Rivera has that, veteran mentality where he lets the veterans play first. He lets rookies come along kind of slowly depending on how they do. So I think that same approach is going to happen with Brian Burns, especially in that crowded room. And, from what I'm hearing, he's doing pretty well. So shout out to Brian Burns. I think he's doing really well as far as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you got to do with the learning curve and all that stuff. But for the most part, I'm only hearing positive, so that's a good thing. But the other rookie I want to talk about is obviously the second pick, the pick that we moved up in the draft to get, Greg Little. And what I'm hearing about him is not so great. One of the rare things Ron Rivera said, and which is, Ron Rivera tends to give little hit tidbits and insight on, how's he feeling about a player. But he said, Greg Little can't rely on his athleticism that, as much now in the league as he did in college. What does that tell me? He's all athlete, no real technique. So here's the thing, right? For me, I know I was one of the main ones beating the drum for Greg Little. I still think he can be a dominant left tackle. I think he can be our left tackle for the future. But what it does also tell me is that he needs more time to become a dominant left tackle than I thought he would. I thought I didn't think he would come in and be a Pro Bowler the first year, but I thought he'll be a serviceable front left tackle. And I think he still can be a serviceable left tackle. But it sounds like, because he was just more gifted or more athletic than basically everybody he played against, in, high school and then mostly in college, it wasn't hard for him, But now, like I said, everybody knows the game speeds up in the NFL, things get faster, players are just better. These are the best of the best. And for him, he's still trying to use his physicality and athleticism instead of, having the best technique. And that tends to happen. Obviously, Cam Newton, they say the same thing about. Cam Newton was so physically gifted when he came in the league that he didn't hone in on his mechanics, his throwing motion, his accuracy. Certain things he could have improved on when he first got in the league, but he didn't because he was just gifted. He could run fast, he can jump high, he had a very strong arm, stuff like that. So, and Cam was able to win an MVP. So, just because you rely a lot on your athleticism in the beginning because that's what you always did, there's nothing wrong with that. But, I thought Greg Little would hit the floor running, but it seems like he's hitting the floor and, walking. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's to be expected. I guess I put kind of too much expectation on him because again, this is a really, I don't think they didn't say anything about him not knowing the playbook or anything like that, making foolish mistakes. It just sounds like, he tries to muscle guys when he doesn't have to, or he doesn't use his arms correctly, and create contact when when he needs to, stuff like that, little things like that that really do matter. You know what I'm saying? When you're going against the J.J. Watts, the Von Millers, the top pass rushers, of the world, that matters. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I think he's gonna have a lot of good practice because we do have a pretty good pass rush. I think Brian Burns will be a good one for him. I think Bruce Irvin will be a good one for him. So, he's going to get that rotation on Mario Addison, who's a smaller guy. So he's going to get kind of a different variety of people. And I think they got Jerry McCoy doing a little pass rush on a DN position too. So he's definitely, going to get some more training and help with that. But I guess I got to taper my expectations a little bit because I thought he was tailor-made left tackle. And I thought, his tape was really good. It was just people were kind of nitpicking it, which happens. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people overanalyze players, because it's the draft, and you look at every, negative play, everything they do wrong, and you kind of overanalyze. And I thought that's the case, and I think it's still kind of the case because I think he still should have been a first-round left tackle. But I think, he just has to work on his technique. Now that I told you guys about the players, I got to give my report for each player. Now, for Brian Burns, I'm going to give him a solid B, B-. He's doing pretty well, obviously, you know what I'm saying? He has to keep his head in the books, and he's saying that he's getting a lot of help with that. He's trying to stay on top of that. But for a first-round pick, I haven't heard any flashes. Now, mind you, it was minicamp, wasn't really, training camp. Training camp, you're going to see more of the, defense against offense type stuff and all that. And obviously, it's hard to see flashes like, receivers, like, obviously Curtis Samuel, stuff like that. You're just catching the ball, so you're always going to see flashes in that. But we're really going to see what Brian Burns can do in training camp because that's when the offense goes against the defense. They're going to have pads on. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see the real Brian Burns then. So hopefully he flashes in training camp, and I think he will. But for right now, I got to give him, I got to give him a solid B. You know what I'm saying? He's not great. He's not sorry. He's right there in the middle. So that's why I give him a B. I think Brian Burns, and it's kind of funny, Brian Burns gets a B grade. But I think he's a pretty good player. I think he will be, beneficial for us in the future. And I definitely think he'll be a lot better with the pads on and in training camp because you actually get to see what he can do against, tackles. You know what I'm saying? Well, actually offensive line. So hopefully, that happens, whatever, and we can see that. And the other person I talked to you guys about was Greg Little, and I had to give him a C. Only reason why I didn't give him like a C- or a D, because obviously, yes, he relies on his athleticism, but it doesn't sound like he was, unsalvageable. It didn't sound like he was failing. It just sounded like, what he should be doing in this little break between minicamp and training camp is working on his technique day and night because he has the ability. He just doesn't have the technique. And you would rather want somebody who has the ability and, the technique to work on than somebody who has the technique but no ability. Because at the end of the day, you can't teach talent. You can only teach technique. You know what I'm saying? And if he has the talent, he has the physical capabilities, he just didn't have the technique, that's refined, you can refine that. You know what I'm saying? That's why people didn't, like, North Turner didn't mind working with Cam because Cam has the talent, he just didn't have the technique. And now they're working on the technique. And I can't blame Mike Shula for that because obviously Mike Shula, as a quarterback coach, didn't really do much. And from what I'm hearing from multiple sources and just people in general who ever talk about Mike Shula, I haven't heard anything glowing about him. So I'm glad they got North Turner in there to work on Cam's technique. And they got John Massico, who's a very good O-line coach, to work on Greg Little's technique. So I think Greg Little will be a pretty good, left tackle. And like I said, all this stuff you can't really gauge until training camp because, again, they're going to have pads on. And I can't wait to see the matchup when Brian Burns and Greg Little go head-to-head because that's going to be amazing. But I think Greg Little deserves a C for now. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how he plays out. I want to see how things played out. I want to see if he actually works on his technique over the summer and or over this little break. And hopefully he comes back as a new man. So that's what I'm hoping for. Well, that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share some cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Roma.com and wherever else. And guys, get in the comment section, man. How do you feel Brian Burns is doing? You know what I'm saying, as far as minicamp and just overall. How do you feel about Greg Little and what he's, how he's doing? And if you have put a grade on it, put a grade in the comment section. If you don't have a grade, just put incomplete or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Check out my Spreadshirt account. That link is in the description below. Check out the Patreon page. That link is also in the description below. Share with your Panther family, my Panther, Panther related. All the Panther fans you know, all the football fans you know, share it with them, whatever. Let them know LCameraTV, Rock Panther Nation, Panther Nation, Rock LCameraTV. Y'all already know what it is. Check out my dog Renard Steen's video. We started a podcast, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be called Debate Me. We got our first episode out, so definitely check that out, man. We're going to talk about a lot of topics, a lot of different topics, and give our, takes on them. So I think you guys really like it. If you stay to the end screen, you'll probably see the debates that we have, and I think you guys will be interested. So definitely check that out. Like I said, share with y'all cool things. Thank y'all for rocking with the boy, man, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Peace.